As was mentioned before, the traditional tarot deck is composed of 22 major cards and 56 minor cards. The minor cards have 4 different suits: wands, cups, swords, and coins. And it can be further classified as the number cards that counts from 1 to 10. And the court cards, which features the people of different classes, such as pages, knights, queens, and kings. In interpreting the meaning of tarot cards, the major cards represents a large cycle of life from the beginning to completion, and the minor cards also represent a smaller cycle from 1 to 10 per each suit. In addition, the court cards stand for the deeper meaning of each symbol's characteristics, or they may sometimes represent people with such personality. The biggest difference between major and minor cards is the range of meaning that they span. While the minor cards usually covers a short cycle, starting from the beginning of a certain activity to its end, the major cards usually represent a longer journey, that starts from an innocent child, who faces the reality, finds his own way, and then finally reaches the status of awakening. Some may simply interpret the major cards to have stronger power, while minor cards have weaker one. However, I would like to interpret that the minor cards give us direct advice on the real-life problems we are currently faced with, and that the major cards jumps up to a higher level, and help us consider the effect of the problem on our life as a whole. Each major card represents a certain concept, that has important meaning to our lives. Its image is filled with a number of complex symbols, which leave room for various in-depth interpretation of each image, and thus it can express complicated real-life situations more effectively. Therefore, some tarot readers or spreads only use major cards to read the fortune. Of course, it is also possible to read various in-depth meaning from the minor cards as well. However, the images are simpler than those of major cards, and the meanings are usually more directly represented. In addition, the minor cards have actual tools to solve the problem we face, which suggest the realistic plan for us to take. The tarot cards focus on the balance and harmony. Therefore, I suggest that it would be better to interpret the cards by keeping balance between the consideration on the certain problem itself, and the effect of the problem on our life as a whole, instead of focusing on certain types of cards.